Well, I know everybody is inquiring about how I'm doing and they want answers about my situation. Well, I'm not here to talk about that. I will let you know that I am doing okay. I am fine. I'm free. I'm actually doing a bit better, but I'm not going to speak about that right now. I'm not going to be speaking about that at the moment. Um, and I did make a statement saying that I would not make as many videos, and I will actually try not to because not because I'm afraid of anybody, but my family is also hurting, and I want to protect them. But at the same time, I've also got a voice, and with so with so much going on, I can't just sit here and just shut up like this. Now I will protect my family and all this other thing, but I also have a duty to express to the people what is going on because the mainstream media is not going to do it. The politicians aren't going to do it. So, for anyone who is watching this who is a family member of mine, understand that I am doing my very best. I'm not speaking any names. I'm not doing anything. Things are going to be fine, but at the same time, there is a lot going on in the world that needs to be spoken. And I don't feel it's fair, especially when some very dramatic things are about to come out with forced vaccines and small businesses being shut down. I mean, the only point of view we hear on the mainstream media is the we have to listen to the science. And you do this, and we're all in this together. And wear a mask, one small ask, wear a mask, take a vaccine. That's all we hear. And it's like, even if I'm speaking nonsense, I think if small businesses are being forced to shut down, if we are being forced to take a vaccine, if we are being forced to lock down, if we are being forced to do things that we've never had to do ever, don't you think it's fair that the other side gets a little bit of a say and the people can determine whether or not it makes sense or not? I think that's fair. So let me continue now. I just heard on YouTube there that the Manitoba Premier, Brian Pallister, he says that if you don't believe COVID-19 is real, you're an idiot. And John Tory came out the same day and said, I am so frustrated that people aren't listening to us or people aren't doing what we're telling them. I'll read. Let me get the actual things out. Brian Pallister, idiot comment. So here is what the Manitoba Premier said.
I will do what I believe is right. And right now we need to save lives. If you don't think that COVID's real, right now you're an idiot. You need to understand that we're all in this together. You cannot fail to understand this. Stay apart.
We're not all in this together. Small businesses are being kept out. People with mental illnesses are kept out. People who have common sense are being left out. We're not all in this together. And by the way, nobody said that this virus isn't real. I just want to put it out there. I think this is another manipulation tactic to try and make us out to be we don't like we just don't know anything. Well, you would know that if you wouldn't try to censor people like my videos on YouTube, or refuse to have people like me on mainstream media, or refuse to allow us to protest and stuff like that. Let's continue with this arrogant individual.
So I'm the guy who has to tell you to stay apart at Christmas and in the holiday season you celebrate, with your faith or without your faith. that you celebrate with normally with friends and with family, that where you share memories and build memories. I'm that guy. And I'll say that because it will keep you safe. I'm the guy.
Well, here's the thing, and if you don't do it, and if you don't do what we say, if you disobey what we say, then we'll lock you up, we'll drag you out of your home, we'll put stuff on your face and all kind of thing. We'll lock you in a jail cell. If you disobey what I just said, we'll lock you in a jail cell where jail cells are the filthiest place on the planet. Closest thing that are filthiest than hospitals. Some guy probably spit on the floor, peed on the seat, probably, I mean, you know, crazy people go to jail, you know, and that's where we'll put you, and that won't keep you safe. So if you disobey my rules, if you disobey me, I'm gonna put you in a jail cell. And I'm also going to disrupt the lives of the police officers who need to be looking after predators or murderers. You know, there's a good YouTube channel that I know called Predator Poachers, and they get all these predators who talk to people they think are little kids. And sometimes the police don't even investigate it. Sometimes the guy who runs the site, I think his name is D'Souza or something. I think he's a black guy actually. I just hear it in his voice because when I think the guy Predator Poachers Toronto, the guy who does the catches, I think he's a black man because I can hear it in his voice. You know, he has a black Canadian accent like myself. And sometimes these police don't even invest. I mean, I would say if I was the mayor of Toronto, I would have a special investigation unit of the Toronto police dedicated to watching every video Predator Poachers Toronto makes. So you're disrupting the lives of these police officers to go or lock someone up who doesn't listen to what you have to say about what people should do for Christmas over a virus that kills less than 1% of people. Okay, let's continue. I mean, look at his face, man. Can you see that? Man, come on, bro. Is that necessary? I mean, you can see the hatred he has in his face. Look at him. Look, I'm trying to be nice here, but come on, Brian. Man, come on. You don't have to make faces like that. You're not addicted. Let's continue with what he has to say. Let's continue. You know, you're going to disrupt police officers. You're going to actually make them victims because, you know, you'll get people who say, oh, the police are out to get us. Look at what they're doing, blah, 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 blah. When many of these police officers actually agree with me and what we have to say and are resentful that they're being used to destroy our freedoms. And I can say that because I've spoken to them and I've had the opportunity to speak with them in the past 72 hours. Let's continue with this, man.
To keep you safe.
You don't care to keep me safe.
Because you need to do this now. You need to do the right thing. Because next year we'll have lots to celebrate. And we'll celebrate this year if we do the right thing this year. You don't need to like me. I hope in years to come you might respect me for having the guts to tell you the right thing.
No.
And here's the right thing. Stay safe. Protect each other. Love each other. Care for each other. You got so many ways to show that. But don't get together this Christmas.
Okay. Well, I'm going to explain again. This is a virus. And by the way, there's another video of John Tory saying how frustrated and angry he is that people aren't following what we have to say. I mean, by we, he probably means the whole deep state, the government, the you know, big pharma, all these guys. You know, these guys are sick. I mean, even the guy's voice, it's like Brian. He looks like he's about to cry because nobody's is not listening to him. It's like the way he talks. You. Why are people listening? Why are people obeying me? I was raised to always get what I want in life. My mommy always gave me everything I wanted. I just had to throw a tantrum and now nobody's listening to me. Is that necessary? And you know something? I'm not trying to be an a-hole, but these guys, if you start something, be prepared for it to go through. You guys have been the assholes in all of this. Now, let me again speak to you about this virus. This is the facts. This is something that has killed less than 1% of people who have gotten it. Okay? Based on other viruses like this, I would say that everybody is going to get this virus. And I'll tell you something else. I think if the politicians had just done what Sweden and Japan did and not had any lockdowns, I think this virus would be over by now, the virus is always going to be lingering, but once everybody gets it, what happens is that it's hard to get back in your body. Now, this is a real virus. I didn't say it wasn't real, but it has killed less than 1% of people who get it. People will die. People will die. When was the last time we tried to prevent something from killing people? When? It's gonna kill people. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. Did I create the virus? Did I create it? No. I don't want people to die, but here's the thing again that I also want to say. People die from all sorts of things. Why don't we stop? Why don't we try to prevent people from dying from the cold? Why don't we prevent people from dying from flu? Why don't we prevent people from dying from AIDS? Why don't we prevent people from dying from suicide? Why don't we prevent people from dying from mental illness? I'll give you another one. Why don't we prevent people from dying of suicide because of these lockdowns? I've heard of people who are losing their minds. An old lady who killed herself because she was tired of being locked away in a nursing home. Why don't we prevent those deaths? Why don't we prevent gunshot deaths? I compare the virus to the 401. Now, for those of you who are in Toronto, you know what the 401 is. It's a big old highway, aggressive highway. It brings out the worst in drivers, the 401. Everybody in this GTA has had a bad experience with the 401. Don't tell me you haven't. Everybody. Whether it's somebody who cuts you off, speeding away down the street, speeding in the opposite lane, or near collision, or fender bender, or high winds, or snow, or can't see. Everybody has had a bad experience on the 401. Everybody. And don't tell me you haven't. Don't tell me I have been able to drive on the 401. I've lived in Toronto for 20 years, and I just stroll down like driving Miss Daisy and down the collector's lane. No problem whatsoever. Nobody never cut me off. Nobody ever sped in front of me. Nobody ever did nothing. Shut up! Take that mess away from me, man. Everybody has had a bad experience with the 401. But most people survive. But I'll tell you, people die on the 401. People die on it. People die on the 401. Just like people are going to die from the virus. And you can slow down the deaths, but listen. At the end of the day, if this virus decides it's going to kill you, it's going to kill you. You're just delaying the inevitable with all these lockdowns. You're just delaying the inevitable. It kills less than 1%. Sweden never had a lockdown. Japan never had a lockdown. Look at their population doing just fine. In fact, let's play devil's advocate here. Let's play devil's advocate. I'm enjoying this stomp down truth I'm giving you guys. Let's play devil's advocate. Sweden never had a lockdown, but their cases are low. Now, I don't count cases. I count deaths. Cases don't mean anything. You can say, so many people can get colds and flu and all kind of things, but that doesn't mean they're going to die from it. It kills less than... People are going to get the virus. This is a virus, and it's relatively new. It's going to get people quick. But most people are going to survive it. 99.99 whatever percent of people are going to survive it. But the cases in Sweden are down nonetheless. So even if this virus killed 50% of people, Sweden is doing... Look at them. The cases are low. Now, Spain had strict lockdowns. Australia had strict lockdowns. And they have to go back into lockdown because of their cases are so high. I mean, Brian Pallister talks... Brian Pallister's trying to talk like me. You don't have to like me, but you... But Brian doesn't give any facts. I'm giving you the facts. I'm giving it to you. Brian is just telling people to stay at home, to be locked up at Christmas, to do all this, and don't do this, and blah, blah, blah. John Tory is saying the same thing. I mean, but these guys, I don't even think Brian is a... I think Brian and Doug and Justin and John and all these politicians, not just in Canada but around the world, I think that they are so insecure in their own minds when it comes to this thing that they're relying on these health officials like Tam and Fauci, who really aren't very good people. I mean, when I've seen videos of Dr. Tam, the chief medical officer in Canada, saying that, we need to lock people up and put bracelets on them and yada yada if a virus comes. These are not good people. These are very wicked and evil people, okay? But they think that they're so right because they're so insecure. They don't know. So Brian probably thinks, well, if I listen to Arana Nation or I listen to my own instincts, man, in Manitoba, everybody in Manitoba will be dead. Something, sometimes your best instincts are the best things. And these chief medical officers, they know that these politicians are insecure. They know that they're insecure. They know that they're scared to death, especially the conservative politicians in Canada. Conservative Canadian politicians are some of the most scared people on the planet. They're so easy to manipulate because they're not secure in their own thinking to begin with. They're not secure in their own ideology. They lack self-esteem. So when this thing comes, it's even worse. So... I mean, Doug, he looks scared. Brian looks scared. I mean, Justin attacking back that truth. I think he knows what's going on. But, the liberal politicians, they're in on this, okay? They're in on this. They love what's happening. And I think people like Doug and Brian... John Tory, I don't consider him a conservative. God, he is nonsense, man. John Tory, he is gone. Doug and Brian... They're insecure people. They're unsure of themselves. And I think it's going to end up hurting them. I know I can never support Doug again. I can't do it. You couldn't give me $1 billion. If Doug came with $1 billion and said, I'll give this to you if you vote for me, I wouldn't take it, I really wouldn't take it. He has done so much. I wouldn't do it. And I don't think that Brian Pallister should get voted in again either. And you notice no polls have come out lately because I think that the polls are so bad for Doug. They don't want to issue out new polls. But anyway, let's pray. Dear Lord, Canada's hurting. The world is hurting. And we need you. We need you. We brushed you aside when times were good. Shame on us. Maybe this virus has come along because it's a punishment for brushing you off with atheism and all this nonsense that we worshipped and we never worshipped you. Maybe this is punishment. But God, we need you. I need you. My fans, we need you. And whatever your plan is to heal us, please heal us. I know for a fact I will not abandon you. I will not abandon you, dear God. I will not abandon you. And anyone in my fan group better not abandon you either. I'm true to you because I know you exist. You've helped me before. You've helped a lot of people before. I've seen your work. Please, we're hurting. We're hurting. We're hurting. Please heal us, dear God. Please heal us. This is the Arana Nation.